All right, everybody, Jim V here. I just did a couple little quick videos over on Instagram, TikTok, and now I want to do kind of a cool expanded version of it here on YouTube for my followers here. So I want to talk about cat allergies. You know, some of you watching may have cat allergies or have family members or friends that are allergic to cats or are just simply uncomfortable with cats or don't like cats. So, what I'm always kind of explaining to people is two things can exist at once. So, we can be literally allergic to cat dander and hair and have physical reactions to things, but always there's a spiritual, emotional, energetic issue behind all events. They're not separated, they always have to kind of be together. So the general rule of thumb with cat allergies, people that are allergic to cats, or again, you can see this to some extent also very commonly with people that just don't like cats, is they're resisting the energies of what cats represent. So in order to explain that, let's talk a little bit about what cats represent. So when you understand the concept of animal totems and working with animals, we recognize that animals represent human attributes that are exaggerated in that animal. That we all have, and the animal may show that in kind of a magnificent way. So cats are all about guardianship, detachment, sensuality. So in like the Druid tradition, they considered the cat very sacred, as they do in Egyptian traditions and other traditions. And there was always an expression, I think in the Druid culture, where they say a cat may look at a king. And what that meant is, if you have a cat, you know this. A cat isn't quite as obsessively loyal as a dog, even though they can be quite loyal and lovable when they want to. But then they also can go lick themselves in the corner and kind of do their own thing and not necessarily be obsessed with you either. So that is actually, in some ways, if you think about that, it's kind of a healthy balance. Because dogs are wonderful, but yeah, they can become a bit obsessive in that way, where cats have a bit more of an independence about them. So the cat may look at a king means if a cat is living with the king, it sees the king as equal, or even you as its roommate in that way. But there's a very strong connotation with the cat and sensuality. That's why you see, Catwoman, and in the comic strips, and there being sort of an energy of that cat representing that female sort of seductive energy. Obviously, cats are male and female, but we kind of see that sensual energy that is very much connected with the cat, the way they will rub on you and are intimate in their own way with their purr. All of these are very powerful kind of sensual formulas and energies. So now that we kind of understand what a cat represents, we can begin to kind of piece together that people that are allergic to cats, or again, who really find cats uncomfortable, are typically uncomfortable with that vibration and that energy. So, and this is going to hold true probably 85–90% of the time. You know, there's always different reasons behind everything, but in this case, it's going to hold true a large portion of the time. It represents, fear of vulnerability, fear of intimacy, fear of being, truly lovable enough, the way the cat has that comfort and its confidence. So, I don't talk about this lightly. I'm also going to get into a solution for people that do have cat allergies, how you can potentially heal this. When I was younger, I did not have a lot of self-confidence, and I felt like I was weird, and a number of issues going on. So I was allergic to cats. I didn't have dog allergies, but I was allergic to cats. And then when I turned around 30, 31, I ended up having the first real intimate relationship and partnership that lasted for a number of years. And the individual I was dating had a cat. So it was uncomfortable when I visit because of the cat hair and the dander, but of course I never would I have recommended that, we get rid of the cat, right? This is, your child in that way. But over time of dating and being exposed to the cat hair, I started to get comfortable with that cat hair and the dander. And after that, even when we actually separated years later, I kept the cat in the separation, and I don't have cat allergies at all anymore. I just don't have cat allergies. So being exposed to the cat energy not only healed the physicality of it, but it also made me more comfortable with that vulnerability, that sensual energy, and more comfortable with myself. Again, taking on that cat energy. So that does interconnect with the idea that if you do have cat allergies, it can be good to bit by bit expose yourself to cat dander and hair to begin to kind of get comfortable with that energy. Again, I'm not, you follow your doctors, and this is just, side suggestions on healing. But the reason I wanted to share this video is recently, I ran across a client whose daughter and her boyfriend are making a big move and then moving to a smaller apartment out of state, and she's trying to rehome her two 7-year-old cats and having a lot of trouble with that. And listen, I mean, other than death and strange extenuating circumstances, when you have a dog or a cat, you pretty much got to take care of it for life. It's like a kid in that way, so really rough on them. And the issue as to why she's doing it, and she's not a bad person, she's doing the best she can, is because her boyfriend has severe cat allergies. And again, my advice would be take the cat with you. He might have to take antihistamines and stuff like that for a while, but eventually, if he learns to bit by bit expose himself to this, he will develop an immunity to the cat hair potentially, and also can get him more comfortable with vulnerability and intimacy, which I can tell you from what I know of her and this guy, yeah, he's got that issue with not feeling comfortable with that. So I've seen this hold true in many, many accounts with clients when they finally did, learn to get comfortable with that cat energy, and became eventually, not allergic to the cat hair. Again, it's not going to always work 100%, but it's a good rule of thumb to consider. And I'd also like to point out that, again, it's very traumatic to animals when you let them go. It's really, really rough. You've got to be careful about doing that unless it's extreme circumstances. But ultimately, this is how healing can come. We just sometimes need to toughen up in that way to it. And then we get the major bonus of not only being healed of the illness and the problem for the future, but then catching the vibration and energy of cat and bringing that into our space and our being. And I always say, listen, I'm not who I was when I was 20 years old and feel intimacy and vulnerability. I'm pretty safely cocky, like a cat about that. And I'm proud of that in that way. So interesting story, just wanted to share that on the video today. And also, we'll just mention doing a lot of great work on my Buy Me a Coffee site. I'm temporarily putting my website down, putting all the energy to buy me a coffee. I'm going to rebuild a website. But go check that out for information on services and options that you can have sessions with me and the many different things that I do. And please like and subscribe and comment about what you think about this. Comments are good. I like when people comment and share as well. A lot of you have good stories and might be worth sharing. So until next time, cheers.